All right, and welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, markets here down 1% on the day via the S&P spiders. Triple Q's down 1.1, Dow down 82 basis points here. So pretty good hit across the board, and you notice the volume's picking up a little bit here. You can see we talked about the summer rally here and how that was on light volume, indicative of, not institutional buying. And now we're seeing some pretty good selling coming in here. And we noticed the volume here, obviously on Friday, picking up big time. A little bit more volume yesterday, although yesterday was more of a pause day. And today, some more selling, so down 1%, and we're seeing an uptick here as we get into the 3:30 time frame at 67 million shares. So we're going to go above average here on volume for the day. We are into a pretty good support level, though. So if we talked about this yesterday, that 50 moving average and that 50% fib would be kind of a bounce area. There's a lot of charts coming into this similar area, the Russell 2000. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for right now, they're kind of defending it. We got a bounce earlier, nice engulfing 10-minute candle, and then a rollover, lower low, and now we're kind of just floating up here in the final hour. It's a decent bounce. We'll probably get some more backing and filling, I would think, tomorrow. I didn't think we'd get this much downside today. I thought we were going to see more chop kind of for, really the remainder of the week. We also have end of month tomorrow, too, so there could be some game playing going on in various equities, so just be aware of that. But I thought we'd see a lot more chop here in the middle of the week. I didn't think we'd see this much downside today, which I'm not complaining about because I'm, mostly short. But in any case, a little bit of downside. We had some stuff out of Taiwan today that didn't help. Regarding, I think they shot at a drone or something like that. So there was that coming out. Dollar index also rallying pretty sharply in the morning, and that was putting pressure on the markets, but it did come way off the highs, and it's basically flat right now. You still have a little kind of inside bar here. So this is, again, I keep saying that 110 area. I think it wants to go up there. So, overall dollar is holding up. We got to respect it. Strong inside bar there. It's, beneath that resistance area. So it's consolidating. That 20 moving average catches up. This can get a bid here, but overall market's under pressure and not really giving you a good bounce. So yesterday I said, you wanted to see a V shape here. You wanted to see a gap down Monday and then a V shape, where we get back up to that 410, 411 area, and we didn't get that. And then today we gapped down and there was your chance for a V shape, and it was like an L shape. So now if we take a look at the 60-minute, you're kind of flagging here bearish. So not a good look here. We are a little oversold short term. So again, I think there's potential for a little bit of a bounce. Again, end of month, maybe there's some window dressing, window undressing, things of that nature. So tomorrow I would say is a little bit of a wild card, but this is a pretty good distribution day with good volume behind it. So definitely under pressure. And you guys know I'm still looking for that 390, 387 area. I think that's the area you want to play for a long bounce if you're looking for one at this point. I don't think we're going to get a significant one off of this level at the current time. But overall, nice little sell for the market here. It is down. Spiders are slipping a little bit more here, starting to fade that bounce a little bit. We'll check back in on that shortly. Let's look at the triple Qs here. So that is weaker, now below all four major moving averages on the daily time frame. Again, failed breakout here. We tried to break out, couldn't. Tried to get back above, and then 1, 2, 3 down. So an outside day down for the Qs. Again, there's going to be support right there around 294, 295. There's also a gap fill right in that vicinity, so that's kind of where we're looking for it in the short term. But again, this is going to kind of coincide with the spiders as well. And if the spiders are in to support, the Qs will also be able to bounce, but the bounce may be lesser in magnitude as the NASDAQ is softer today than the S&P, and that really has been all year long. Russell, so we talked about that 50 MA a minute ago. And I said yesterday, if you get down here, 50 MA, 100 MA, you're right into that zone. Pivot high, so that was your breakout area. So there's your consolidation, couldn't get above it, then you broke out. And now you're pulling back into that area. So, this is probably a good bounce area for the Russell. I think the better level is going to be right in this 175, 177 area. Again, but, short term, little oversold, and, into some decent support as well. So we could get a bounce. Now, if we start getting narrow body candles and we're going sideways, that's telling you we're getting ready to dump here. But overall, a nice little recovery there. Well, not yet anyway. A nice chance for a recovery, I should say, for the Russell here, setting up. And tomorrow, and then the diamond here, Dow Jones, also into pretty good support. This is getting dragged down a little bit by Salesforce. CRMs makes up a pretty good weighting of the Dow, and that has been absolutely hammered lately. But Dow, now below all four major moving averages as well. And, again, into kind of this, previous kind of breakout area. So, decent support right in this range. So, again, it should get a bid off of this. But, again, dead cat bounce really everywhere. Look at the Russell. That's, lower lows. Didn't even really make a higher high here or even try to. Same thing, kind of seeing dead cat bounce across the board. At least at the current time. So I don't think this is a level you want to play to the long side. If you want to play a level to the long side, it's right down here around 390. So that's kind of where I'm looking for the market to go, and I'm probably going to stay short until then. Anyways, so let's take a look at some sectors here. So semis, again, below all four major moving averages now. We noted that yesterday. We couldn't get a bounce off this level. I thought this would have been a decent bounce level here. We tested it yesterday. It didn't really do anything, and now we're breaking through that today. So next level is probably around 211, 210 on the semis. So a little bit of softness there in tech. Again, tech's leading to the downside, and that's really nothing too new there. IGV also taking out the lows. CRM also kind of taking this down. Adobe a little bit on the weaker side as well, down 30 basis points. This has had a pretty good fall from 450 all the way down to 374 in really 2 weeks. So pretty good fade there for Adobe. And IGV remains weak. Again, there is a gap fill around 275. I think you can get decent support in that area. 275 and 277-ish will be good levels there for the IGV. But in the meantime, it still remains weak. XBI in danger of losing that 50 moving average unless we get a mega surge here in the next half hour. So biotech coming in a little bit as well. So we talked about that gap fill right there and kind of this lower little trend line. That's probably where you're headed in the near term for those of you who follow the IBB. Same kind of thing, in danger of losing that 100 MA. This chart's holding up a little bit worse actually than the XBIs. You already filled that gap there yesterday. So IBB definitely the weaker out of the two. Dow transports here. So continuing to fade. That's the DJI. So that chart doesn't look right here. DJT here, Dow Transports. So again, continuing to fade, basically into that 50 moving average, just kind of like the spiders here, getting a micro bounce off it. Intraday, again, kind of looking dead cat here. I mean, this is not a V, like by any means. It's more of an L shape, right? So some definite weakness here. You do have some support of this pivot here, which you basically kissed. We'll see if it, tomorrow we'll give it the benefit of the doubt today. Sometimes when you get these, when you test these levels, sometimes you don't get a reaction right away. Sometimes it takes a day. Maybe they wanted to get a lot of put buyers on board before they push it up tomorrow into end of month. That's possible. But overall, we're hitting that level, and we're hitting that red line that I've been talking to you guys about for the last couple of days, right in there. And that's has been a good pivot point here over the last year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you finally broke it, and then it became kind of more minor here. So if it doesn't bid off of it today, I might just erase this because that'd be like really the third time that you haven't respected it. But we'll see if it respects it again tomorrow, and we'll just leave it at that for now. But Dow Transport's down 1.5% here on the day with the rest of the market. All right, interest rates. So we got to talk about this. 10-year flat, actually finished unchanged on the day, perfectly unchanged. 30-year down just a touch, and then 2-year down as well, down 8 basis points here. But the real thing is 5s and 30s are now inverted again. So we have another inversion. They're down about 5-6 basis points. 2s and 10s are back to 33, 35 there, and the 3-month and 10-year, which is right here, hit a new low today, or at least it got basically back to the lows, and this is weaker. So if this goes inverted too, that is another major signal here. So again, we're seeing some more inversions across the board and weakness in that flattening curve. Again, not a good thing for markets. Doesn't mean it will happen right away, but this is every day that these remain inverted or even close to inversion does economic damage. And that's something that's going to have to be dealt with, if not now, then down the line. So keep that in mind. By the way, with the 2-year continuing to sell off, the Fed funds rate is now about it's basically about 2% away from the 2-year Treasury yield. So that just tells you how much work the Fed still has to do. Anyways, let's move on here. Home builders, fading again. We're into these pivots. We'll see if that gets a reaction tomorrow. Again, we talked about that little necktie, 50, 100 MA. This should get a little bounce here, even though it's not doing much today. I would expect this to at least hold, at least a dead cat bounce, a bear flag, something like that. But we'll see what that does tomorrow. That is red with everything else. ITB down 70 basis points as well. We'll see if they can hold that area tomorrow, but again, below all 4 major moving averages again, so definitely have to respect that. VNQ, another one below all 4 major moving averages, so more weakness there. We'll see, you got a little support right here, and let's get rid of this. That's a gap fill. That's from old time there, right about there. So there's your pivot low, gap through that, and then you couldn't get through it, breakout. So this is your level right here, right around 93. So we'll see if it gets a bounce in this area. But again, VNQ getting hit pretty hard, 1.3% down. That's a pretty big move for that equity. All right, XLF down 50 basis points. Again, holding the 50 moving average. This is actually one of the stronger sectors in the market today, believe it or not. It's still down 40 basis points, but down less than a lot of other things here, and it's holding that 50 moving average for now. So again, we'll see if it does that tomorrow. Broker dealers continuing lower, so now again, daily chart lower low. Again, no support here. This has got a lot of air in this pocket here, so broker dealers weaker, just like everything else here, down 82 basis points as we speak. All right, energy here, crude backing off, engulfing reversal off of that 50-day moving average with volume. So I've been telling you guys, I know we made a daily chart higher high, and I know we pushed up here, we got above the 200, but I kept saying, I'm not convinced that this is it yet. I wasn't ruling out the possibility, but I just, that weekly inside bar, you got to look at those bigger time frames. They tell you everything. I see one of the biggest mistakes that traders make is they lock into the daily time frame, and they miss the bigger picture. And you see that weekly inside bar there. It's more important than a 1 daily chart higher high, or even the daily 200. So we're still seeing a little bit of weakness here. If this continues lower, we'll get down to my targets here, and I think that we will go long crude, but this is getting hit down 5% here. I would love for one more flush here in energy, and then I think it's time to get in. And I know we talked about the dollar, and I usually talk about the dollar after energy, but we'll talk about it again. If we get up to that 110 area, or you wouldn't even have to get up to the 110 area, but just if we get up a little bit more on the dollar, and that puts pressure on commodities, and the dollar reverses finally, the market's probably going to like that initially. But question, what do you think is going to happen to the price of crude if the dollar starts falling? The market's going to then realize that very quickly. Oh, same thing with the price of soybeans, corn, wheat, copper. Okay, so you see what I'm saying here? So we'll be interested to take a look at that dynamic. Obviously, I'm watching the dollar very closely. If we get any sort of heavy reversal, then I think it's definitely topped out. Or if we at least get to that 110 area and we see a reversal, then I think we can definitely probably call a top here. And I think the market, again, like I said, will like that in the short term, but commodities will also like that, which the market will not like. So just a little food for thought there. Anyways, let's get into XLE. So down 3.31%. This took a pretty big hit today. It got a little overbought here. Let's extend this trend line here. So you're basically, come on. There we go. So basically testing this trend line again, and then you have this lower one here, which kind of coincides with that 20 moving average and the 100 MA. Let's just extend that one. So there's a lot of support right in this area. If it bounces and makes a higher high, it's strong enough to go up to gap fill. If it loses this area, it could have a lot of downside here. A lot of the time when you get a rising wedge pattern, you'll get kind of a breakout, like a breakout or a fake break to the upside, and then it will roll back over. Likewise with a falling wedge, for instance, the spiders here, I'm just going to, oh, you can't really see. This isn't really that good of an example, but maybe we can just do it from like right here. Yeah, there we go. So you have a falling wedge, so this green line and then this white line. And what happened, we broke down and ended up being a fake breakdown, and then bam, we blew out. So a lot of the time when you get those falling wedges or rising wedges, you can kind of get a fake move to the upside, and then it will roll over. But we'll keep that on watch for now. We're not going to make anything out of it too much yet. But it is, these energy stocks are getting hit. XOP down almost 5%. It was down over 5% at one point and filling that gap. So, but still strong on the chart and still a strong name relative to the rest of the market. OIH, same kind of deal. So right into that trend line, getting a little bit of a bounce. We'll see if that continues tomorrow, but some definite weakness here today in energy. Natty, still holding up. So it's holding that 20 period moving average for now. Again, like I said yesterday, if it breaks, you're right back to that $8 area, and you get a bounce right at this trend line, most likely. That has been a that trend line's been money for quite a while so far. All right, we talked about the dollar already. So gold here, getting hit a little bit today, not really making a new low. I still think this has potential for putting in a higher low and making another leg up. Overall, nothing really too new to add to it there. Silver getting close to double bottom here. This is getting kind of attractive here. Very interested in silver at the current time, but I'm not don't quite have a buy set up just yet, but I'm definitely watching it. So silver is getting interesting. Platinum, I'm already in. This is getting hit a little bit here today. I wouldn't make too much out of it. I still love the area. Palladium backing off a little bit, still has a micro daily inside bar. And then copper also getting hit just a little bit here, but kind of holding on to that 50 moving average again. Bigger time frame, weekly pattern is still okay. You just don't want to see a close below that green bar low on a weekly basis. There will probably be more downside in the cards if that happens. All right, lastly here, so let's get over to the coin. So Bitcoin getting hit, not terribly. It's actually off the lows nicely, and it never really took out that low from, I think this was Saturday. It was Sunday, so never took out Sunday's low, and we had a nice reversal yesterday. Crypto was up yesterday when everything else was down. Ether actually has a nice little hammer candle in a hammer doji kind of candle. So crypto actually holding up okay for now, especially considering we were green yesterday when the market got hit. It's definitely showing a little bit of relative strength. We'll see if this continues. Again, like I said yesterday, could just be because it's so oversold that there's just a lack of sellers right now. But for right now, crypto's hanging in there, and we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. All right, so spiders here. Let's take a look back in. So yeah, basically just chopping around in this area. Got about 15 minutes left in the trading day, and we're down 1% on the spiders, 1.18 on the Qs, and just under 90 basis points on the diamond. So overall, a nice little sell day. I do think the market can bounce here. We'll see if it gets any sort of robust bounce. The bulls really need to step in, and they need to get an engulfing reversal. They need to get a close above this 100 moving average. They need to do something here. Otherwise, this is looking more and more like a DCB. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.